The business opportunities for AI chips are limitless, and MediaTek certainly won't stand on the sidelines. They are now ready to do something big. MediaTek is cozying up to AI powerhouse NVIDIA with one hand, while snatching up major chip orders from Google with the other. This is business that, in the past, only the industry giant Broadcom could secure. How exactly did MediaTek pull it off? Could they possibly challenge Broadcom's leading position in the IC market? In the past, when people talked about AI chips, NVIDIA's GPUs were the first thing to come to mind. But GPUs are not only expensive, they are in short supply globally, so having money doesn't guarantee you can buy them. That is why cloud giants like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta have been frantically working on customized AI chips, known as ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, specifically to reduce their reliance on NVIDIA. But here's the problem. While these cloud giants are skilled at designing chip functions and architectures, mapping out every single detail for an entire chip is a whole different world. For example, how to arrange tens of billions of transistors to avoid overheating, or how to route kilometers of nanometer-scale wires so signals don't lag, not to mention the need to integrate various critical intellectual properties. If they had to do all this themselves, the manpower and time costs would be a bottomless pit, so the smartest approach is to outsource it directly. This has created a wave of business opportunities for professional chip design firms. Research institutions estimate that from 2024 to 2032, the design services market will nearly double. Currently, the industry leader is Broadcom, with a market share of around 60%. But one company is quietly entering the field to accelerate its pursuit, and that company is from Taiwan. In March 2025, MediaTek successfully won Google's TPU order, and once the news broke, it caught the entire industry completely off guard. After all, Google's chips, starting from the first-generation TPU, have always been Broadcom's exclusive specialty. Google only had to draw the architectural blueprint, and Broadcom would handle everything else. The troublesome physical design, coordination with TSMC for advanced processes, all the way to packaging and testing. Broadcom's end-to-end service is so strong that they have almost no rivals. Even other giants like Microsoft and even OpenAI are lining up to collaborate with them. In the ASIC chip segment alone, Broadcom's orders for 2025 have already exceeded $10 billion United States dollars. So the question is, how did MediaTek, a company that designs mobile phone chips, succeed in punching above its weight class? The answer is that for these cloud giants, chips don't just need high performance. They must also be energy efficient, or they won't be able to handle the massive electricity and cooling costs of their data centers. This is MediaTek's greatest strength. When designing mobile chips, they excel at keeping power consumption extremely low. This eliminates the need for high-end VC vapor chambers or graphite sheets, and avoids top-tier power management chips, significantly slashing the overall bill of materials for the phone. Now, MediaTek is bringing this energy-saving expertise to ASIC design, helping clients save a fortune. Plus, MediaTek holds another trump card: TSMC's CoWoS production capacity. For high-end AI chips, whether GPUs or ASICs, TSMC's CoWoS packaging is essential, so everyone is fighting tooth and nail for that capacity. Broadcom takes 180,000 to 240,000 wafers a year, while MediaTek currently gets about 20,000. Crucially, MediaTek is negotiating with TSMC to secure over 150,000 wafers next year. This gives Google peace of mind, proving MediaTek can handle the final stretch from design to mass production. Most importantly, Google has long been unhappy about Broadcom taking such a large share of their profits. Since MediaTek can solve the issues of cost and capacity, Google naturally won't let Broadcom maintain its monopoly. This avoids being held hostage, but Broadcom is an industry veteran with proven technology and experience. So, the savvy Google decided to play a two-pronged strategy. Simply put, training AI models is the hardest part, requiring the most powerful chips. As for inference, the AI services used by millions, the cumulative costs are staggering, so high CP value chips are king. Thus, Google entrusted the training version of their 7th Gen TPU to the experienced Broadcom, while handing the inference version to the master of cost control, MediaTek. In this ASIC battle between Broadcom and MediaTek, everyone was watching to see who had better integration or higher cost efficiency. Unexpectedly, MediaTek suddenly picked up a powerful weapon. At Computex 2025, they announced a partnership with NVIDIA, securing the critical NVLink license. With Jensen Huang appearing in person to show his support, they instantly became the media's focus. What exactly is the power of NVLink that it can shake up the industry? Simply put, NVLink is a high-speed chip interconnect standard. Today's AI data centers use thousands of GPUs or ASICs at once. While the strength of a single chip is important, whether these chips can become stronger when linked together is an entirely different level of the game. If these data transmissions were a busy railway system, then the NVLink high-speed interconnect standard would be the control center, deciding when data is sent and which routes it takes to ensure a smooth flow. But rules aren't enough. Chips need switches. These act as transit hubs, using high-speed standards to route data from one chip to another. NVIDIA's real killer move lies here. They have the world's most powerful GPUs, plus their own NVLink interconnect technology and NV switch. It's like a perfectly integrated road network, allowing data to zip across tens of thousands of GPUs without any traffic jams. The problem is that this is NVIDIA's private road network, completely closed to outsiders. This gives major cloud providers a major headache, because without NVIDIA's system to link the chips, even the most powerful hardware is useless. So they are working hard to create an open high-speed interconnect system to avoid being locked in by NVIDIA, and the driving force behind this open system is Broadcom. Not only are they pushing open standards like Ultra Ethernet with these cloud giants, but they also possess the industry's most powerful switch chips. Built to UEC rules, their bandwidth and latency are fully competitive with NVIDIA's NV switch. Seeing their advantage being challenged by competitors, NVIDIA isn't about to sit idly by. They've played their trump card, directly opening up NVLink to MediaTek for their SoCs. Manufacturers wanting to build SoCs can now have MediaTek design chips with built-in NVLink IP, seamlessly connecting to NVIDIA's top-tier interconnect system. The only condition is that they must buy NV switch hardware, ensuring NVIDIA profits either way. Even better, since everything runs on the same NV system, companies can mix and match GPUs to save money, giving them another reason to stick with NVIDIA. Jensen Huang isn't just skilled at cutting pricing, his business strategy is just as sharp. Through this collaboration, MediaTek gets a free ride to strike at the heart of Broadcom's territory. After all, with cloud giants and Broadcom pushing UEC, if MediaTek tried to build a new interconnect technology, they would have to set standards, verify stability, and persuade customers, which is a thankless, uphill battle. Now, by using NVIDIA's existing NVLink, they have instantly closed the gap with Broadcom in interconnect technology. However, this chip competition is already moving into its next phase, the era of silicon photonics. Simply put, it's about swapping traditional copper cables for fiber optics to carry light signals, solving the old issues of signal attenuation and interference, and taking transmission speeds to the next level. Broadcom has moved the fastest, already upgrading its Tomahawk switches to CPO versions centered on silicon photonics, and MediaTek has immediately struck back by investing in a US silicon photonics startup this March. In the future, whoever masters silicon photonics first will have a trump card in the AI battlefield. So you see, the rules of the game in the AI era have actually changed. In the past, people cared about the computing power of a single chip, but now the real decisive point is how to maximize the performance of an entire system when tens of thousands of chips are put together. This shifts the manufacturer's play from a simple hardware spec war to a race for positioning within the ecosystem. Making the best product is no longer enough. You have to integrate your own technology into mainstream architectures to survive. So, do you think it's possible for MediaTek to transform from just selling mobile chips to helping clients manage the entire system? And is it possible for Taiwan to upgrade from the strongest manufacturer to a rule maker in the AI ecosystem? Thanks.